before, and that takes a lot of time. It's like creating a new course.
The Canvas facilitator just typed in, "Hi, Stephen," so I
saw that, yeah.
I just replied if she can hear us talking or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I can hear you.
You were being nosy.
Okay.
You were snooping on us.
Yeah, but you can also remove our ability to make noise, right?
I can remove your ability to make noise, yes.
Not to pass on the noise to others. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I just letting you know I have a little bit of a cold I'm getting over, so my voice is lower than normal. But
okay. And sorry for the intrusive question, but your name?
I'm sorry. This is Allison. I've worked with.
Oh, you're Allison. Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure because we had somebody else, I think, another time. Yeah. Okay.
So, Claude, how many more are we waiting for today?
I'm not sure exactly how many realistically will come. Not many. There's a list from Chris, which includes quite a few people, but I think, give me just a sec.
Yeah, they did ask us, Allison, correct? Yes, they did ask us if we would be attending, so there should be some information as to how many responded to that.
Hi, Allison. Allison?
Yes.
Yeah, at least one person, Don Bradadini. The others were invited, but I think Chris had confirmed participation, only 3. But I think we can wait a few more minutes and then we can get going, because even if if the fewer the better for those who are here.
Sure. That sounds good. And while we're waiting, I'll ask everyone who is on the line to put in the chat box a little bit about how experienced they feel with Canvas. So if you are just now starting and know nothing, you could put a 0. And if you actually have played a lot in Canvas, you could put an 8 or something like that. On a scale of 0 to 10, give me a sense of how much you know already, and also which classes or which disciplines you're working in. And that way we can use the time while we wait.
Oops. I forgot that each time you type enter, it sends it.
Allison, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can
Oh,
hear.
good. Okay, this is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Claude, I wanted to thank you for your help last week. The email you sent me was helpful in getting me started anyway. But I think this training is going to help too.
That's right. Well, it's going to help particularly, yeah.
Right.
What I sent you was a roadmap, but it would take a discussion, really, a one-on-one to know exactly how to do it. And I think,
right. It got me started, though.
Yeah,
I looked at it and I didn't know how to start.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I did get started, so.
And yeah, the first transfer that you made from Blackboard was basically nothing came through, but.
Yeah, but it worked the second time, and I don't know what I did wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's all tricky. It's tricky stuff. Just the little things, and sometimes it's impossible to know what went wrong. But Okay, that's good anyway.
Do we work with you, Claude, when we're done in trying to, I mean, I have not moved any of my classes over. I have
Yeah.
Canvas.
Work with me means you can just try to do it yourself, or you can just send me an email. Please transfer course XYZ into my course XYZ in Canvas, and I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I tried to play around with it. I got to this point where it wanted me, I forget the actual command, but it was something about transferring or uploading a course.
Yeah.
When I got to that, I did not know.
It may be better to let me do it, because if you do it wrong, I mean, I did it myself wrong, then you have to delete all the stuff that you, because if something goes through but it's not the right thing, or it's not everything, then you send the right thing afterwards, and then you have duplicated stuff and things like that. So it's easier to do it right the first time.
Claude, I have just one question for you, and then I'm sure we'll get moving. It was just something that was weighing me down in terms of this conversion. From the people that have been doing it, my biggest concern is on the examinations. Were those transferable, or do we have to type? They were?
No. The exams are actually the parts that transfers best.
They do?
Yeah. It's the best. Thanks. If anything, any exam, I mean, they call them quizzes in Canvas. Anything you have in Blackboard transfers practically as is into Canvas.
Oh wow! I was having nightmares. I was waking up.
That is the best. It just goes straight under quizzes, and it's essentially the same thing. I mean, you can always look at it and tweak. Of course, the settings are slightly different, but it really transfers very well.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, the other things transfer well too, but sometimes you have to relocate them because the basic units are not the same in Blackboard as in Canvas as in Blackboard. So sometimes you have to move things. I mean, you have to move things around a little bit, but the exams transfer very well.
Okay. Hi, Linda. What do you teach? I don't think I'm.
Oh, well, Steve, we're going to be on the Stephen. Sorry, we're going to be on the conference call tomorrow too, because I'm going to be one of the instructors in the clinic class.
Oh, great! In the virtual.
Yes, but I've been teaching nutritional assessments. That's the one I've been teaching the longest.
Oh, beautiful. So we'll be talking tomorrow at the meeting.
Yep.
Oh, great. Well, it's good to touch base with you here.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. And I just shared my desktop, so you should see a course that says Canvas 111 Course Design Workshop.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And Claude can enroll you in this course if you'd like to look at some of the resources that are here. The resources in this course go way beyond what we'll be able to talk about today. But if you're experienced course designer, you might find those resources helpful down the road. So it sounds like both of you have experience building courses online, but you're new to Canvas, and so you just like maybe a reorientation and an introduction to how things work in Canvas. And so that's what I'd like to start out today, is just giving kind of helping you orient yourself inside of Canvas and understand where everything is. If I start to cover anything that's too basic, I'd like you to let me know. And we're going to rely on the chat a lot today. So if you cannot find the chat box, take your mouse to the top of the screen, and a gray drop-down box or drawer will come down. And inside that drawer, you'll find a button for the chat. Click on that, and we'll be back in touch with each other. Okay?
I don't see that.
All right, so let's see. Do you see a green?
Oh, okay.
A little green tab at the top of your screen?
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. Got it.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. And also, just for the sake of the recording and also my voice today, I'm going to mute all of you. So if you have questions, if you'll put those in the chat for me, that makes it easier for me to conserve my voice a little bit and make sure I answer the question appropriately. So I'm just going to mute you for now. I can unmute you later. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is how Canvas is structured. And I'm going to put into your chat area a link to a public course. And I'd like you to click on that link. It will take you to a course called The History of Economic Ideas. And this is just a sample course that somebody, we have some people in our community who are very generous and like to share how they're building their courses. But this is an example of a course in Canvas that is very common. And the idea with this course is to create a very simple home page with a simple image and 3 links, very large links, that help the students get to the introductory page for the course, the syllabus, and the course materials, which are organized in modules. So this is a very common home page layout, and it's a good place to start, I think. Okay, but what you need to know about Canvas, whoops, is that you actually have several options when it comes to this home page or this landing page here. And all of those options are found in the link up here at the top. This is Change Home Page Layout. I don't know if you found that before. If you've seen that before, let me know in the chat. But all I'm going to do is click on Change Home Page Layout, and I'm going to see that I have several options. I can view a sort of a Facebook stream of recent activity in just this course. I can design a page myself. I can take my students to the modules area, which are the units of content broken down by week or chapter. I can show them an assignment list that helps them to see which assignments they have overdue. And then I can show them the syllabus page. All right, and let me just show you all of those briefly so you can get a taste for what they look like. So Canvas gives you quite a few options in terms of what your students see when they first come into the course. So this is what the syllabus page looks like. And what the syllabus page has, it's kind of nice, is a dynamic course schedule. So at the top of the page, there's an area here that's fully editable by the instructor. I can click on Edit Syllabus Description and put into this area any instructions I want to about the course. And I can upload my syllabus. I can copy and paste my syllabus text from Word or some text editor. I can include all kinds of information, links out to other pages in the course. So this is fully customizable at the top. And then at the bottom of this page is a course schedule that Canvas puts together based on due dates. So when you create assignments, I'll be showing you how to do that, and you put a due date for that assignment, like February 17th here. What happens is the assignment puts itself right in the perfect spot in this chronological course schedule. And if I were to change this due date to March 17th, it would just automatically update and show up a month later in the list. So we like this, and many faculty really like this because they don't have to keep on rewriting the course schedule. If you plan on having something of a dynamic class where you make changes here and there, then you might prefer this view because it keeps it updated and clear for the students from beginning to end of the class. Okay, so that's the syllabus view that many faculty like. I'll just show you the module view. It's taking just a second here. Okay, so with the modules view, this is a different feature in Canvas that many faculty really like for organizing their course content and assignments into blocks. And you can see that there is a block at the top of the page that says Start Here. And this is a very common practice to have a page inside the block to meet your instructor, a course orientation page, a downloadable course syllabus, and then a quiz. And you can even see that for this module, the instructor has set a prerequisite. And this means that students have to score at least 35 on the quiz before the next module will unlock itself. And that forces them to read carefully the syllabus. So the nice thing about modules is that you can sequence your pages, your discussions, your quizzes, your assignments, all your assessments in a way that makes sense for your class. And this teacher did it by month. So January is listed this way, and then if I scroll down, you can see February, okay? And that's how they decided to build this out all the way through April. And then there's a final paper project. So the modules is very clean and simple, and it's very easy to build. We'll talk about how to build these modules. So based on what I've shown you so far, I've shown you a custom designed page, modules, and the syllabus page. Which of those three do you think you would want to use in your class? And Stephen asked a great question. Can you do a video intro for the Meet Your Instructor? Absolutely, you can do a video intro. In fact, you could even put that on the home page if you wanted. I'm going to go back to a page I'll design myself. Anywhere in Canvas, you can insert video. So, and you can insert video on the fly, or you can prepare a video beforehand and then insert it into the page. So I'm going to click on this Edit This Page button here. So I have this nice image. I could put my cursor down here, and if you'll notice in the toolbar, I'm going to circle around a film strip icon, and this film strip icon is incredible. Click on it, and what you can do is you can use your webcam or your computer microphone to record a clip, a video clip or audio clip on the fly. So just very easy to quickly insert an introduction to your class. If you have one prepared already, you can click on Upload Media and go into your desktop and find the clip that you've already prepared and upload that into Canvas. And now just so you know that this is the one feature in Canvas that does require Flash. And so you need to make sure that Flash is working in your browser in order to record those clips. But Stephen, you could do the same thing. Stephen is suggesting he might like the assignments with syllabus. And by the way, you should be able to send your questions to all participants now. So if you want to post your questions to everyone, feel free. So let's just go to the syllabus view by clicking on syllabus. I can do the same thing here. I could put an introductory video clip right at the top of my syllabus. Okay. So I could put a little block right here saying hi to my class if this is my home page. All right, so that's the first thing you want to decide when you're looking at your course in Canvas is, what do I want my home page to look like? And how can I make it dead simple so my students don't get confused? All right, now let's talk about the overall navigation of Canvas. Yes, Stephen, when you click on the video link, those two tabs should pop up. So just allow Flash into your browser. And let me know if you have any questions about that. Linda, I'm curious, from your perspective, what type of homepage would you want your students to see in your course? And if you could type that in, that would be great. Syllabus. Okay, great. Okay, good. So both of you are leaning towards the syllabus view for right now. I think that's great. Okay, now the navigation. This isn't totally intuitive, so I want to explain it. On the left-hand side, you have all these links here. This is called your course navigation. You do not have to show all of these links to your students. In fact, we don't recommend it because there's so many features in Canvas. If you showed them all at the beginning of the semester, they would be very confused. And so what we recommend is hiding some of these options from your student's view. And the way you do that is by clicking on the settings link at the bottom of the course navigation, and then clicking on the navigation tab. And now what you can do is very easily drag these different names down below this line. So you might want to hide the files repository because it's messy. Maybe you're going to hide quizzes because you're going to link to those in a separate page or module. Maybe you want to hide outcomes because you're not using that right now. Maybe you want to hide assignments and discussions, and maybe even grades, since the students can get to the grades in another place that I'll show you. You're not going to use collaborations or conferences initially. Good question from Linda. Pages just means it's the place where you build wiki pages. So any of your content that you build in Canvas as a separate page that shows in the middle of your screen, that's a page. So, and actually the pages feature is not very user-friendly. It's pretty disorganized. And so this is another feature I would hide for my students. And if the home page is a syllabus page, then I don't need to show the syllabus feature twice. So I can remove that as well. And now I'm left with a very simple navigation that's just my home page, which is the syllabus page, announcements to post announcements for the whole class, modules with all the content, and people, so that my students can make study groups with each other and communicate with each other easily and see who's in the class. So that might be one way of simplifying your course navigation. Now, I know you don't know a lot about all these features yet, but based on the little that you do know, which of the features do you think you want to show your students? If you had to pick through, which ones do you think are going to be really important for your class? And if you could type that in the chat, that would be excellent. Excellent. So Linda has said, I'll have the home, the syllabus, the modules, the grades, and the announcements probably to start with. And Stephen's thinking discussions, grades, syllabus, and assignments. So those are both great. And announcements. Okay, good. That's a great starting place. And just so you know, this can be adjusted at any point during the semester. So at the beginning, you might keep it really simple, and then down the road, you decide to bring a special guest in, do a virtual conference. Then you can come back in here in your settings area, and you can drag conferences back up to the list and make it visible to your students. So it's not something that you can, you only decide once. You can adjust this throughout the semester as your needs require. Oh, thanks. Claude's just reminding us to send your comments and questions to all participants. That is Stephen, it's right above where you type. There's a send to drop-down menu, and just select all participants from that drop-down menu. Okay. Wunderbar. Okay. All right, so we learned about the course navigation. This center part of the page, we call it the main body of the page. So that's where the main content goes, is in the center. And on the right-hand side of your screen, we call this area the sidebar. Okay, and the sidebar changes depending on where you are in Canvas and what you need to do. Right now I'm in course settings, and so the sidebar has lots and lots of buttons here for course settings. If I go into quizzes, and I open a quiz, I'm going to see different options appear on the right-hand side. So there'll be different buttons depending on where I am in Canvas. When I go to edit the quiz, a whole host of quiz options appear on the right-hand side. So whenever you're building something in Canvas, just look to the right and you're going to find all the options that you need for the thing that you're building, okay? And one of the things that we're going to build first is a page, so you understand, what that's like. So I'm going to go over to pages. Now the first page that shows up is your front page, the one that we saw as the home page. Yeah, Stephen, that's correct. The right side is always these options of how to edit all your special settings. That's correct. You can think of it as your right-hand man Yep, that's right. Good. So, and then something else in terms of navigation before we build a page. Notice that this white area from about an inch down the screen, this is my course, okay? But above this line is our global navigation menu. The purpose of this menu is to make it easy for you to jump into any gradebook, any calendar for any course, to look at all your assignments that you need to grade, and to jump around from course to course. So if you're done working on this course, you need to go to another course, you just click on it from this menu. Or if you want to come into a study group or committee or task force that you're a part of, your groups will be listed here. Okay, so this menu, we call it the Global Navigation menu because it will never go away. It doesn't matter what course you're currently working in, this menu stays. And so does the menu up here in the top right. This is kind of your personal menu. This is where you can go check your private messages between you and your students, and this is where you can adjust your account settings. And it's also where you can get help if you ever get stuck, which happens to everyone at the beginning. So if you get stuck, click on the help link, and this is where you'll be able to find a lot of great resources to help you resolve your problems. So, all right, so just to kind of remind you, let's just do a quick pop quiz. This is the center of the page here. Do you remember what I called it? The center of the page? That's right, main body of the page. And all these links on the left, remember what I call these links? Navigation bar, good. Yeah, we could call it course navigation to be specific. Good. And then on the right-hand side, what do we call this? Sidebar. Okay, great. All right, so now you know where the brakes are and the gears and everything, so you can start to drive very slowly in Canvas. All right, so what we want to do is build a new content page. And maybe I want to call this, maybe I want to create a new page that's called More About Me, okay? So I just clicked on this Create a New Page button on the right-hand side. And by the way, when you create new things in Canvas, the buttons to create new things are always in that sidebar. So I'm going to create a new page and type in the title and click Create. And if you'd like to follow along, since we're a small group today, if you want to try this yourself, not a problem. All right, so it's created a brand new page for me, and it's opened up the page in editable mode. So I can see in the main body, I see an editor window where I'm going to actually put in all my text and links and images, etc. And on the right-hand side, in the sidebar, I see something new that I've never seen before. This is our content selector. And it's a very handy tool. You're going to love it. But this tool allows me to link to other course resources. So this first tab here, called Links, makes it easy for me to link to other assignments or quizzes or announcements or discussions or modules that I have already built. Obviously, as you get started, this will be kind of empty. There won't be a lot here. But as your course develops, you're going to find it really convenient. So I can say, welcome to this class. I hope you took the opportunity to introduce yourself in the welcome discussion. Okay, so what I do to link to existing things in my class is I just highlight the text that I want to link in the editor window, and then I come over here to the content selector and I find that discussion, and there's the discussion called Introduce Yourself, and I just click on it and it will flash yellow inside of the editor window and create a link to that discussion inside the class. So that's really easy. And go ahead and try that. Try creating a link to something else in your class. And if there is nothing else in your class, that's okay too. But just make sure you know how to do this, how to build a link to something else in your class. Maybe you can use the quiz list or something that's there automatically. And give me a +1 in the chat once you've had a chance to do that or you feel comfortable moving forward. Oh, okay. So, okay. Sorry, Stephen. I made an assumption that yeah, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying if you happen to be logged into Canvas and you have the courses that you're working on, you could do it in there. Yeah, it's just optional. Okay, good. So we created a link to something in the class. Let's create a link to something outside the class. The way you do that is by highlighting the word and using this chain link icon here. And then you can link it out to any outside site like Google. So now I've just created a link to Google from the word yourself. Okay, so that's easy, easy peasy. Now let's try to create a link to, whoops. Okay, let's try to create a link to a file. So please read the syllabus before proceeding. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to highlight the word syllabus. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to click on the Files tab. And I can see all the files that I've uploaded into my class already. So I'll go and I'll find the file that I need and select it. We'll grab the Communist Manifesto. And there we go. It just linked right there. Okay, so that's how you create a link to files that you've uploaded. Now let's say I don't have the file in here that I need. Well, that's easy. I just click on Upload a New File and go grab it from my desktop. So I'll go grab it. And I can even select where I want it to go in my file repository, which folder, and then upload it on the fly. Okay, so that's really easy. And then lastly, there's a tab here for images. And this you're going to really like because it looks at your file repository and it actually pulls out all the images so that you can view them and just click on the ones you need. So I might have a symbol for reading here that I use over and over again, and I click on that symbol, and now I can type. Don't forget to read. And that looks really, really nice. And then I could use this other symbol for quiz. All right. So we talked about these 3 links here on the right. Internal course links, your files, and your images. Let's review the buttons in the toolbar here so you're familiar with those. It's pretty simple. You're going to see this toolbar everywhere in Canvas, so you'll get very familiar with this toolbar. If I click on this, I'll bold it, text, italicize, underline. I can color text, and I can highlight text. Okay. I can erase all the formatting from a piece of text. This is very helpful if you're copying and pasting from Word and the text comes over with all kinds of strange markup. Just click on the eraser and boom, all of that crazy markup will be erased, and you can just manipulate the plain text. You also can left, center, right align paragraphs, insert bulleted and numbered lists, and you can indent or tab entire paragraphs over using this indentation tool. And if you want to get really fancy, you can build tables. So maybe you have something that needs to be represented as a table. You can build that and do fancy things with background colors and all of that. We talked about we talked a little bit about the images that you can pull from your own files. And Claude is asking, you know, the images are available. He's asking if he can share images between courses. And the short answer is you'll only see the files that are in your course currently. There's no way to pull from like a bigger repository, but it is very easy to copy files from one course to the other. And there's 2 ways of doing that I can show you later. So if you have a folder of images that you used in an old class and you want to bring it into this class, it's very simple to do. So that's a good question, Claude. Now let's talk about images that are really easy to grab using this tree icon here to embed an image. This is where you can link out to image URLs on the web, but what I like to point out is this link here at the bottom to search Flickr, because all the images here are already licensed in the Creative Commons, meaning that their creators have given you permission to use them for non-commercial purposes. So as long as you're not selling these images, you can use them for educational purposes. So I might come here and let's see. Let's see here. Let's just try vitamins. Okay, so I just put the word vitamins and I found a bunch of generic images of vitamins. So that was pretty easy, and then I'll just scroll through, and when I find the one I like this fresh fruit, I'll click on that. And we could talk about vitamins in our orange juice. Okay. Yes. So Flickr becomes your Google Images, and we recommend it over Google Images because, like I said, they are pre-cleared for being used. So let's see, Linda, remind me what you teach. Let's try searching something from your subject area. Yes, so I'll search nutrition. And look, here's some people who've already created some Wordles that's great. Looks really cute. So I'm going to resize it, and I can even center it on the page. Okay. So that just gives you an idea how easy it is to add a splash of color. So 2 tips for building content in Canvas. One is to try to add a splash of color, an image of some kind. It's really, really helpful for online learners, especially for everyone, to have a visual cue that reminds them about the content on that page. They'll recall the information better. They'll connect better with your course and the way you have it organized. And their mind will literally absorb that image in a way that is really powerful. So it seems very simple, but some kind of image on every page is something I found to be really simple, a simple tip that goes a long way. And then another tip here is whenever possible, if you're building an assignment, which we're going to do next, when you build an assignment or you're giving students instructions, try to give them very clear instructions with text, right, like this, but then also insert some kind of audio clip reinforcing what you've written down in text so that learners who are more auditory by nature they'll probably skim through the text, but if there's a video clip or an audio clip, they'll click on that and they'll listen to you explain in your own words what you're asking them to do, and they'll connect with you better as an instructor. So those 2 things can drastically increase effectiveness of your course, especially the instructions when you're giving out instructions to your students. Oh, that's funny, Claude. One of your instructors just used that image for a front page. Huh. That's great. All right, when you're done editing your page, don't forget to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And there it is in all its glory. I want to point out that files in Canvas are automatically previewed. So this makes it really great. The students can click on that magnifier icon and they're going to see a scribed preview of the document that they can very quickly skim through without having to download it and open it up in Word. That's a huge time saver. Whoops, huge time saver for the student. And also, there's a link at the top of this preview that says full screen. And if I click on full screen, now I can zoom in, zoom out, and look more closely at this document. And it works beautifully with PowerPoint so that they can scroll through all the slides. And it works great with PDFs, Word documents. So that's a really nice feature that you're going to appreciate. Oops. Okay, so any questions about how to build content, how to add images, how to type, make links, any of that you're unclear about? that you'd like me to go over. If not, put a +1 in the chat, and we'll build an assignment. All right, fantastic. Okay, before we build an assignment, I just want to point out to you how easy it is to upload files into Canvas. So this is the files feature. You probably have, you know, lots of files that you've used in the past, and you can, and Claude can help you with this, but you can zip up all of your files into one zip folder, and then use this button here on the far right to magically upload all of those files at once. You just go pick the zip file, you upload it, and all of the folder structure that you have in there, maybe you have a parent folder with 7 child folders for each of the weeks in your class. Everything's really nicely organized on your desktop. Well, you can zip that up and upload it into Canvas at once, and then your file structure in the course will be exactly what you need it to be, organized just the way you want it to be organized. So that's a tip for doing it really quickly if you already have those files on hand. When you do an import from another system, the files come over really nice. But if they're disorganized there, they'll be disorganized here, and then you'll have to kind of shuffle them around. So we recommend just making it really clean on your desktop first, and then zipping it up and pushing it into Canvas. Now, if you ever have to do things manually here, it's very easy to do. Just click on Add Folder, create a new folder. You'll see it now over here in the left-hand navigation. And a quick trick that you're going to love is you can drag and drop files from your desktop into the browser. So in this new folder, I could come to my desktop, and I could grab a PDF and just drag and drop it right into the browser. You can see it's telling me to drop files here, and it will automatically upload it right into my files. Stephen, can you repeat your question? Which icon? Oh, the quick one. It's right here. Far right-hand corner. All right. Now, to drag and drop files, you need to put your mouse to the left of the file name. You'll see a crosshair appear, and then you can drag those to the left and put them in any folder. So if you need to move things around, grab them on the right, and then drag them into the left. And the way that the logic of this is that on the left, you have your file hierarchy, and on the right, in this box here, you have the preview. So if I click on New Folder, it shows me the contents of that folder on the right. Okay. If I click on the root, it's going to show me everything in the entire course. And just so you know, you can lock files and folders individually. You can lock them into certain dates and times, and then unlock them for just a couple hours and lock them again. So like answer keys and things like that, if you just want to open them up for a little bit and then close them down. You can also hide, like I said earlier, hide these files from your students entirely. So if it's hidden entirely from their view, that is not a problem. You can still link to it. So let me just show you. I'm going to click on, okay, so like this document here. There's a padlock icon. That's what you want to look for. So I'll unlock this file, and then I'm going to click on the padlock again and show you something. You can do this with all the files in your class or with just an individual folder. But see this box here, Linda? I can let students download or view the file if I link to it in the course. But it won't appear, students won't be able to see it or manipulate it inside of the files repository itself. So if I do want to show the files area to my students, I can take several folders and hide them from the student's view so that they're not rummaging through my stuff. But then if I link to something in a quiz or an assignment, they'll still be able to get access to it. That's kind of what we call semi-private. So it's, now if you want to, and this is what a lot of faculty do, just hide files from your students. Hide the whole area from your student's view. Then you don't have to worry about any of this locking business. They won't be able to see anything, but you can still link to it in your modules or pages. Okay, so you got your files. Let us go create an assignment, or at least look at an assignment. See how it was created. All right, so I just clicked on the assignments page, and this is where you can group your assignments. So if you group your assignments currently in your class, can you tell me how you group them? Do you group by quiz, exam, writing, reading, assignments? How do you group your assignments in your class? If you'll just put that in the chat for me. Okay, great. So it looks like some of you don't group, Claude, it sounds like. And that's okay. You can have a course where the grade book is just calculating based on points. But if you decide to use Canvas's grade book, you have the option, if you want to down the road, of creating groups. So you could have a group for all your quizzes, and then that group together, all those quizzes would be worth 40% of the grade. You can see right over here that this teacher has set it up so that the quizzes are worth 40% of the grade. So that's something you can do down the road if you want to. Now what's nice about setting up assignment groups is that then it calculates the grade automatically for the student. And if you need to add an extra quiz into the quizzes group, it doesn't throw off your grading scheme, which happens with points. So that's kind of nice. But if it's by total points, that's not a problem. Just uncheck this box at the top of the page, and it will just be point-based. So Canvas will do the math based on the points you assign each assignment. So yeah, you can do both. The Canvas doesn't care which way you do it. So, all right. So this is basically how you build your gradebook, is on the assignments page. And notice that I've created these different assignment groups. And now what I'm going to do is add an assignment to one of those groups. So I might come down here to the discussions area, and I might add a new discussion. And you add new discussions by mousing over the top right-hand corner. There's a little plus button, and that's where you can add new discussions on the fly. So I could quickly add a new discussion there. So I'll just call this sample discussion and give it a due date and some points. Okay. And then under type, I'll mark it as a discussion type and then click update. And that's how easy it is to create a new assignment. Yes, a discussion is the discussion board. Correct, Stephen. Yeah. Okay. So how do you set the time frame? Well, it's due on February 20th. I'm going to click on the link now. Okay. This is what it looks like. It's empty. But if I click on Edit Assignment Settings, this is where I can set the locked until date. So if it's due on February 20th, maybe I want it to open up on February 13th. So I just click on February 13th, and that gives them a week. Okay. And then there are other things you can do with discussions that are pretty cool, and I would encourage you to experiment later. But you can set up group assignments so that there's a smaller group is discussing the topic by itself first. And so that's really neat. You can also set up peer reviews. So if you're doing lots and lots of discussions in your class and you want the peers to evaluate each other using the rubric, the discussion rubric that you set up, you can give them the burden of evaluating each other's discussion posts at times instead of you having to do it all the time. So that I think that's really powerful at the beginning of a semester, to have them be the ones evaluating so that they get a sense of what you expect. So peer review is something you can play with. And then notice also that when you do grading by, you can grade by points, letter grades, percentages, or complete and incomplete. And that just means full value or no value. So complete would be 400 points, incomplete would be 0. So you have different ways of grading different types of assignments. All right, so that's a discussion. Let's put a little prompt in this discussion. Okay, so I'll update this. All right. So here's the discussion prompt. And now the student clicks on write a reply, and look, they have the very same text editor that we've seen before. So they can insert video and audio. they can format their text. They can even attach files. So these discussions can be pretty fun and interesting. They don't have to just be text. They can be media discussions. You can do research where the students share web links. One of the things that I really like that's kind of simple is our YouTube integration. If I go get this and I hit return, notice that it creates an embedded YouTube right there without me having to do anything. So I just paste it in there and it appears automatically. So definitely some fun things you can do with discussions. Maybe a little more unconventional. You know, maybe you post an audio clip and then you ask everyone to argue the pro or con side using the audio clip as well. So. All right. Let's go back to assignments. And for this assignment, let's see, Stephen, what's an example assignment that, like, can you give me an assignment prompt that you might use where you want them to submit a paper or something like that? A research paper, okay. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on, let's see, this plus here, and I'll create a research paper. And we'll make it due February 22nd and worth 250 points. All right, and click update. All right, again, all it's done here is it's created an assignment shell. So the assignment's not done yet. I still have to click on the assignment title. Okay, and then click on Edit Assignment here on the right-hand side. So inside the assignment now I can type the prompt. And I can link out to files. Okay. Now, I have some basic settings here. I could adjust the title, the points, the due date. But this is really key right here. Where it says submission, I need to select online submission. So with online submission selected, now I decide what kind of online submission I want back from the student. Is it going to be a file upload? Is it going to be text entry? Is it going to be a website URL or a media recording? And I'm going to leave all four of them checked just to show you what it looks like from the student perspective. Another thing to keep in mind is this link here for more options. Okay, if I click on more options, then this comes back where I can set up a group paper with peer review. I can fine-tune the lock date. So if it's due on February 22nd, Maybe I do not allow any submissions after February 25th. Give them the weekend. And same with locked until. If I don't want them to see the assignment prompt until a specific time, then I can do that as well. So this is not going to show to the student the assignment prompt until February 1st. If I'm receiving file uploads, then I may want to restrict the kinds of files that they're allowed to submit. So I might say I only want DOC and DOCX because I use track changes and I don't want any other kind of document. So you have lots of options in how you set these assignments up. Any questions about these options before I show you what it looks like on the student perspective? Okay, something else that really helps with evaluating student work is setting up your rubric. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find a rubric that's already out there ready to be used. So I'll pull in this common assessment from the English department. And you can set these up in your departments too so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So I'm pulling in a rubric that's already been created. And then I'll click on this pencil icon to say, okay, I like this rubric, and not only do I want to use it to communicate expectations to my students, but I also want to use this rubric for assignment grading. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and update the rubric. And it asked me, hey, you know, the rubric's worth 25, but the assignment was worth 250. What do you want to do about this? And I said, okay, make the assignment worth 25 too to match it with the rubric. They don't have to match. They can be separate. But in this case, I do want it to match. All right, so now I've created my assignment and I have a rubric associated with that assignment. Now let's go look at the student view of this research paper. And this is a really nice feature that you're going to love. If I go into course settings and click on student view, now I'm looking at the course through a student's eyes. And notice everything's kind of cleaned up. There's not as many links and buttons. So I can see what this course looks like from the student perspective now instead of from the teacher's perspective. And I can click on assignments. And notice that this is a different view now altogether from what the teacher saw. Okay. And then let's go to the syllabus view so you can see that. All right. So here's the research paper. Okay. Good question, Stephen. I'll answer those. So here I am as a student, and I can submit this assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and submit by clicking on this button in the right-hand side. And notice that Canvas is telling the student that the permitted file upload types are doc and docx. So they know they cannot submit anything else if they're going to submit a file. So I would pick then from my desktop, my doc file. I can leave a comment. And click submit. So that's how easy it is for the student to submit. And they can see now on the right-hand side that they successfully turned it in. They can even click on submission details and download whatever file it was that they uploaded. So it's very clear to them what went through to you. Remember, this assignment was open until the weekend was over, so if they needed to, they could resubmit the assignment. And in Canvas, resubmissions are really easy, which means that you can have them submit multiple drafts and iterate and make it better with the same assignment. That's really great. Now, if there are other types of submissions, remember we checked these other boxes. Just let me show you what they look like. If you wanted to, they could just copy and paste a paragraph of text into this box here. They could submit a URL from a blog that they were writing and maybe a website that they were researching. When they submit this URL, Canvas takes a snapshot of the page. So we know exactly, and you know exactly what it looked like at the time of submission. And there's also media. So if you want them to record or upload a media clip, that's another way of submitting work online. So you have a lot of options. So now I'm going to leave the student view. It's taking just a minute here. All right, now, as an instructor, notice on the right-hand side, I have a link here to the SpeedGrader. So if I go into the SpeedGrader, now I can see no, I can give you a better example. Hold on. Okay, so this is a different class because I want to show you a better example. But Stephen and Linda, do you see on the right-hand side this to-do list here that I'm pointing at? Okay, so this is Canvas prompting me, telling me, hey, these are the assignments that you need to grade. So all I do when I come into the class is I just click on the ones that need grading, and it takes me into this interface. It's called the SpeedGrader. And the SpeedGrader is really awesome. So on the left, you'll see the file upload or the student submission. So you see what the student turned in. Okay. On the right, you see the rubric. So this is where I can see the rubric that I built or that I pulled in from my department. And to grade the student, all I have to do is click on the cell, and it puts those points right into the rubric. I can leave comments for each rubric row, and then when I'm done, I click Save. And the score is automatically tallied here at the top. So that's how fast it is to grade students' work. And I can even leave a comment for Cindy down here. And if it was a group assignment, I could send that comment to the whole group. Again, I have media comment here. So if I want to put a video or audio clip in instead of paragraphs of text, that might be more effective in some cases. I can attach files. So if I use a separate file to evaluate their work, I can attach it. But it's just really powerful. And then while I'm grading, if I want to, I can mute the assignment so that students do not get any feedback from me until I'm ready. And then when I'm ready, I click on unmute, and all my comments and all my grades and all my rubric ratings go through at one time to the whole class. So you asked, what does the student see? And I'm going to show you what the student sees with a little magic here. I'm going to masquerade as Cindy Brady. Stephen, you're kidding me. You know Carol Brady? Oh, I have to unmute you for this. Okay, tell us about Carol Brady.
You can hear me or no?
Yeah.
A very good friend of mine that I went to chiropractic college with. He practices in Florida, and that's where Florence Henderson spends a lot of time in Florida. She went to see him, fell in love with the guy, and I was very good friends with this guy, Jesse, and helped get him through school. He was a little bit older than I at the time. And we built a very good relationship over the last 20 years. And a few years ago on my birthday in April, someone calls in and starts singing me happy birthday in my office. And it's on speakerphone, and everyone in my waiting room is hearing this beautiful voice sing me happy birthday. And I said, who is this? And she said, it's Flo. And I said, I don't know any Flo's. And she said, it's Florence. I said, Florence who? She said, it's Florence Henderson. And I said, Mrs. Brady? And everyone's head looked up, and it's just an interesting connection. She has sent me many pictures of her with my friend Jesse at the White House, Christmas dinner, and we had spoken numerous times since. So very, very sweet woman.
Oh, that's great.
Humanitarian. Humanitarian.
Oh, cool. Wow. Well, the Brady family is famous at Canvas because we use them all the time. So that's really fun. Well, okay, so I've masqueraded now as Cindy Brady, and notice that when she logs in, that on the right-hand side, she can see the recent feedback that's come to her. So she sees that she's gotten 3 new grades recently. That is the first place where she's going to see that she's gotten a grade. And then also, if she set up her notifications, she could get these things via text on her cell phone too. So she'll get emails, she'll get text messages, she'll see it when she logs in. And then when she clicks on the essay, she'll see the submission that went through. And in the case of a of a Word doc, we have an annotation tool called Crocodoc. She can see all the annotations that her teacher has made and all the comments. So she can read those annotations and those comments. She can make more comments and reply back and forth about this document. So she could say, I fixed that, and it will save. So really powerful way for the student and the teacher to talk back and forth about a specific writing assignment. Google Docs is another way, but Crocodoc works great too. So she sees the assignment here. When she clicks on Show Rubric, she sees how she was marked by the instructor, so she knows what kind of grade she got for each row. And if there's peer review, she would see assessments by her peers here as well. All the comments will show up on the right, and she can continue the conversation back and forth with the teacher right on this page. So does that answer your question in terms of, I guess I could show you the grade book too, but when she clicks on grades up here at the top, she sees all of her classes, and if she clicks on the class, then she'll see a grade book that looks like this. So this is what the student view of the gradebook looks like. It's a table, and she can go in and she can see all the scores that have been assigned to her so far. And what her total grade is. And if a assignment is muted, meaning the instructor is withholding those grades until he or she is done grading everyone, then there'll be a little mute sign. They can see the rubric just by clicking on this rubric here. So the gradebook is really powerful just for the student. The student also can play with scores. So right here we have what are called what-if scores. So the student can come in here and put in a grade. That's just a fake grade. And Canvas will calculate what their grade would be if they succeed in getting that grade. And they can tell that they're that these are not real grades. But that way the students don't have to ask you, you know, how close am I to a B? They can see it right here on their own grade book. Okay, so I'm going to leave the student view now and show you the grade book from the instructor's perspective. So this is what it looks like for just a student. And if I click on grade, okay, so here you go. Here's what the grade book looks like for the instructor. Notice that on the left are all the student names. And then as I scroll to the right, I can see each one of the assignments has become its own column in the grade book. You do not have to create the grade book yourself. You just create the assignment, and Canvas will create the grade book for you. So every assignment gets its own column in the grade book. And I can go through and I can see pink means that the submissions came in late. So that lets me know if they've been turned in late, and I can dock them if I need to. This typewriter symbol means that it was a text-only submission that came in. And if I click on that, I can go out to the SpeedGrader and evaluate just that submission. Something else I love about this gradebook is the ability to message students who. So for each assignment, I click on this and I can message students who haven't submitted yet. That way I can send a quick message out to everybody, and they don't know that I'm sending it to everybody, but I can just say, reminder that final drafts are due on Thursday, and send that message out. And now Marcia, Jan, Cindy, Alice, Mike, Greg, they're all going to get that message from me without me having to do it separately. So a good question about grading discussions. Let me see if I can find a good one here. Oh, I guess not. Yeah, they sure have been little slackers, the Brady. Let's see here. Let me go back. That's right, family meeting time. Let me see if I can find a better one here. Anyways, while I'm finding this, the short answer to your question, Stephen, is that the students' work is not collated. It's collated on a per discussion basis. So when I go to grade, I can only grade a single discussion topic, okay? So I would click on the graded discussion, let's threaded discussion here, and then go into the SpeedGrader for that discussion. Okay, and this is an example of a submission. So I would see all of Carol's discussion replies, all 10 of them, for that discussion on one page. And so I could grade her participation using the rubric for that individual discussion, okay? But there's no quick way for me to look at Carol Brady's work in all discussions for a week's time. Not here in the SpeedGrader anyway. The best we have right now for that is, and it's something I know our product team is aware of, we're trying to do a better job with discussions. But if I come into the discussions area where all my discussion topics have been posted, then I can quickly search. Let's see here. I thought I could search, maybe not. I'd have to search by course word. Okay, so I can't search by student like I thought I could, but I can search by keyword. So that's right. it's not showing the total posts per week per student. Yeah, so a sheer number isn't going to get, you're not going to get that right now. But this is a hot topic. We have a lot of people with lots of suggestions for this. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a breather for just a second and step back. I would like you to type in the chat unanswered questions. What don't you know yet that you need to know to start diving in yourself? So please put some of your questions in the chat now. Okay, excellent. So I'll just take these one at a time. Stephen, you're asking whether the announcements will go out via email as well. And yes, the short answer is yes, but it's up to the student to allow it. So by default, the answer is yes. The student can go into their account settings and they could turn it off if they didn't want those to go to their email. So they could override that default. But usually what we see is that students turn those up. We'll have them go to their email and to their Facebook and to their text, and they don't care. They like getting multiple reminders. So usually students take care of themselves and they do a good job of getting outbound notifications. It's the teachers who typically turn them down so that they're coming into Canvas to see the news instead of getting it outside of Canvas. So okay. Yes. If the quiz is, excuse me, a typical quiz which is graded, you know, multiple choice where there are clear right answers, there's no essay questions involved, and Canvas can grade the whole quiz by itself, then that grade will go right to the grade book. So you don't have to intervene there if it's all, you know, multiple choice, true, false, easy to grade. If there's an essay question inside of that 20-question quiz, then it'll put a temporary grade in, let's say, 18.3 or something. and then wait for you to come in and grade that essay question for the real grade to post. So it lets you know, and it lets the student know that Canvas is still waiting on you to grade the manually graded portion of the quiz. Okay. Yes, you can go to the grade book and give feedback via voice message. So let me just show you how to do that. I'm going to go into the grade area. Hold on, back here. So any gradebook cell has a little comment bubble in the upper right-hand corner. As you mouse over the cell, that comment bubble appears. So if I click on that comment bubble, it loads an area where I can leave a comment just for Cindy about that assignment. So yeah, I just noticed that. I guess you do have to go into the SpeedGrader to do voice. And that's down here. I like that as a feature request, though. I would recommend, because I think that would be really powerful, going into our feature request forum and searching for voice, comments, gradebook, see what people have commented about this already, because I like that. I think that's a really good feature request. So I'm going to just put this link in there. Yeah, okay, so text-only messaging from the gradebook. Yeah, it's something we'd have to look at closely. But more important, just explain what you're trying to do in the feature request. Say, the more we know about what you're trying to do, the faster we can find the right solution. So you can just say, I want to quickly leave a voice comment for everyone in the column, either in bulk or individually, and then we'll take that to the drawing board and figure out what the right way is to accomplish that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'd be great to do that from the gradebook. I mean, you're going to be in the SpeedGrader a lot, but there's no way to bulk message from the SpeedGrader, and we don't have, like, at this time, we don't have saved comments where you can make a comment and then save it in your library of comments and then reuse it over and over and over again. So no, I think it's a really good request. Yeah, definitely. It's for a lot of students, the auditory just gets the message across way better than text. Yeah. And it also takes the sting away when they hear the tone of your voice. You can say things that you couldn't write as easily. So I think that's great. So I'm going back to your questions. up here. Let's see here. Linda, you said your import came in quite jumbled. So I wonder what parts, and that's maybe something where you need to sit down with Claude because they've been going through this import process. But I can give you a couple of tips along these lines. Let me unmute you so you can tell me about your import. Go ahead.
Well, I think the problem is that there are different navigation tools in Blackboard. So Canvas kind of put them in, I guess, where it seemed logical, but you know, it wasn't really the way I wanted my course set up. So I just moved them around. You know, it wasn't terrible, but it just took a little more time. Gotcha. Assignments was one thing because, oh, I can't even remember now. I'd have to pull my course up. I think there were things in assignments that shouldn't have been there. But the quizzes came great. So that was a good thing.
Good.
Claude said they would work good, and they did. But everything else was kind of jumbled.
Now, if your due dates are off ever, you can do a re-import of your course. So, like, if the dates come over and everything's wrong and you want to do it again, you can go into the course and click on Copy this course right here in the course settings and do a kind of a second copy over.
I had to delete, well, I thought I had to delete everything individually. Is that not true? Because the first time it didn't work well. I think I did something wrong. And I deleted every item manually before I recopied.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is to import again. So you, I'm going to click on, so let's say I did an import and it came over so-so, but there's a lot of garbage in there that I don't need. So I'd call it sort of like my kitchen sink import course. And then I go to Claude and I say, Claude, can you make me another course shell, a blank one? And then what you do is you copy from your kitchen sink into the blank one. And when you copy over, you can, let me just do, we'll do this one just for kicks. Okay, so when I copy from the kitchen sink course, I can uncheck this box. Instead of copying everything again, I can just pull the things that I know look good, you know? So I can say, I just want the rubrics, I just want these quizzes, everything else I'm going to leave behind. And also, when you do that double import, you can adjust the events and due dates. So if the due dates are all messed up, you can say, okay, here's what the dates used to be, but the new ones need to be April 1st, 2013 to August 15th, 2013. And Canvas will shove all the due dates into that window, and that will save you some time. So if you need to do some fine-tuning, work with Claude, and you can do a double import.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. You asked also, Linda, about
external links. Yeah, I have a section for external links that doesn't necessarily apply to one assignment. They're just in general, you know, journals, and like I like to keep them all together, and I just didn't see a logical place to put them in Canvas.
Right. So this is one of my favorite topics.
Oh, good.
It's here under settings. So click on the settings link.
Okay.
And then there's a tab that says external tools.
Mm-hmm.
And under that tab is where you can add tools just for you. that only you are going to use. There's also a way to add these at a higher level, like for your department, so all of the teachers benefit, not just you.
But I wanted them for the students. But I see Claude said he has a module for them. Oh, stupid phone, sorry.
Oh, okay. I see. This is a little different. So these are just links that commonly used links that you want students to go to.
Right. And I mean, I guess I could do it in a module, but then it would just be you'd have to click on module and then scroll down to where the links are, right?
Yeah.
There's no direct link.
Right. You could. Okay. So you can link to them on your course homepage, but what I like to do is I was going to share with you that we have an external tool that creates a link in the course navigation.
Oh, yeah, that's what I would like. Great.
Okay.
That's what I want. Perfect.
All right. So in this case, it's a link out to a JSTOR search page.
Okay.
But let me just go to settings. Okay, and then if I click on external tools, there's this link out here that says click here to see some LTI tools. So you click on that and it takes you to a colorful page with lots and lots of fun integrations. And a lot of these are free, some of them are vendor specific, but you can search for open education resources, build graphs, embed Twitter, link to other tools that you use a lot for conferencing. You can link to content that you've already paid for, or free content. Anyways, there's lots of things. But there's one here called redirect. So here it is, this redirect tool.
Mm-hmm.
So all you do is you put the name of the link, which would be something like library portal. And then you put the URL in here. And then you select where you want it to show up. Do you want it to show up in the course navigation? Yes. So you check this box. And then you'll have a configuration URL down here. So I'm going to copy that configuration URL, and I've made it just the way I want it to here on the page. And then I go back to my course settings, and I add a new tool. Now, when you open up this form, it's kind of overwhelming, but the way you do it is you say configuration type by URL, and then you'll have a much simpler form to fill out. And all you do is paste in that configuration URL that you created on the page. This is a public tool, so you can give any key or secret. Any string of characters will do. And then give it any name that you want to, like library portal. Okay. That's just for your reference. Now I'm going to save the tool and refresh my page.
Okay. So that'll just link to that tool, just that one link.
Right.
Okay.
And so you can see now when I click on it, it takes that page and it embeds it right inside here. I mean, you would put the link to your resource or whatever.
Right. Okay.
But so if you had, like 5 commonly used resources, you could just repeat this process 5 times. And then when you go to settings, you can change the order. So you could put, this link up at the top if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one way of handling it.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we are about out of time, but I just want to review kind of what we were able to cover today and where you can go from here. So we learned about the overall navigation of Canvas, the course navigation links, how to customize those. We learned about the home page and different ways of customizing that home page to suit whatever it is you're trying to do in your course. We saw that students and teachers alike are reminded about things that they need to do here on the right. So a to-do list, a dynamic to-do list for students and teachers. We looked at how to set up a discussion and how to set up an assignment, add a rubric, and grade using that rubric. And we took a peek at the students' view of the world, how they see those grades coming back to them, and just how much detailed feedback they can pull from their grade book or from their course. So there's a lot of communication that we're handling to make sure that students know and are getting the best feedback from you possible. We talked a little bit about notifications and how students can get notifications about feedback via text or via email or Facebook. And so it's up to each individual to decide how frequently they get pinged by Canvas. That's something that they adjust here in their own personal settings. And we looked a little bit at the limitations of discussion. So it's not quite as fancy. I mean, this is a younger product than Blackboard, but I can assure you that as we move forward, we're going to be taking a close look at discussions and hopefully designing them so that you can efficiently give students good feedback about their discussions. And please, I hope you'll contribute to our feature request forum when it comes to that. And then we also talked briefly about how to design pages or how to use the toolbar and how to use that awesome media comment tool to leave video or audio comments for instructors. So we covered quite a bit. There's a lot more still to learn, and specifically about quizzes, which is a very deep topic. I'd like to introduce you to Canvas Guides. This is it's really your BFF. This is where you should go when you have any questions about Canvas at all, and you're going to find some great help and some great support. So I'm going to go to Canvas Instructor Guide. And inside that guide, we have a very detailed chapter about quizzes. So I'm going to scroll down to the quizzes chapter. And just there it is. So, and I'm going to even send this link to you in the chat so you can link to this yourself. But this chapter goes through the different types of quizzes. There are 4 types of quizzes, and it goes through all of the different types of questions. So as you're thinking, okay, how do I do a Likert scale question, or how do I do a multiple answers question, or a fill-in-the-blank question, or a true-false, or a multiple choice, or if you're doing any kind of math or formula question. We have a lesson for it, and the lessons are great. They're very step-by-step. And then if you want to dig even deeper, how do you create a question bank? And how do you leverage that question bank inside of a quiz? How do you move questions from one bank to another? How do you publish your quiz? How do you lock a quiz? How do you export a quiz? How do you import a quiz in QTI format? So anyways, lots of information here about quizzes that you can continue to explore, and Claude will be there to help you as well. But that's just one example, and there are a lot of other kind of treasures in Canvas that you'll discover as you become more comfortable with the interface. So any final questions or comments before we wrap up? Well, okay. Oh, let me unmute you. You're welcome, all three. Thanks for your participation today, Claude and Linda and Stephen. It's fun to work with a small group. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That just means more work for Claude because there's going to be a lot of people.
No, I'm very happy about today because the more you get, the less I'll have to do.
Yeah.
But I must say I always agreed with Linda. I mean, what she says about from my limited experience, what she says about the guide, the Canvas guide, it is really a great resource. You can find all kinds of things. That's the first thing I always do. If I don't know how to do something, I click on Help, Canvas Guide, I type in a keyword, and I'll find the answer practically every single time.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, everyone. Have
okay, thank you very much. Stephen, I'll talk to you tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be on tomorrow.
Right.
She did send an email out with a contact number. Let me just double check on my calendar to make sure I have that. Is it 866-809-6529? Does that sound familiar?
I would have to check, but I have my email here. You're talking about